They look pretty cool, but why'd they get forgotten? I don't know. What's up, guys? Ape here, and today I have an Ancient Warriors deck profile. I did put out a post on Twitter, see if you guys want to see an Ancient Warriors deck, but nobody voted on it, so I decided to make it anyway. But yeah, I think there's a pretty cool archetype. I think it started in Initial Assault, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I mean, the artwork looks cool. They have a very, I don't say niche effect, but they have a very interesting, or like the way they play is very interesting. But with this variant, I want to keep them a little more control based. And you know, a lot of them are level 4, so obviously you can spam out rank 4s and things like that really easily. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So for the first card we're going to be playing is 3 Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Mo, however you call it. This card is while you control an Ancient Warriors monster, your opponents can target this card for attacks, and then you can only activate each of the following effects once per turn. Send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, add an Ancient Warriors monster from your deck to your hand except itself. Then the second effect is, if your other Ancient Warriors monster effect is activated, except during the damage step, target a monster your opponent controls return to the hand. So obviously you're going to want to have like a lot of, like I said, once you get past your turn 1, you can spam out a lot of Ancient Warriors really fast. So once you get all the guys out there, per se, you can start using their effects. You can start during, during your opponent's turn, start getting rid of their stuff and whatnot. But yeah, he's kind of like your searcher for the deck. And then for the next card we play triple Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Suan, or Shuan. I don't know how you say it. But yeah, while you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monster cannot target this card for attacks. And then his effect is, if your opponent the one thing that sucks about this card is that your opponent has to control more monsters than you do. I guess that's how you gotta nerf this card, right? But if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can send a card from your hand, or field to the graveyard, special summon Ancient Warriors from the deck. So you can summon whatever from the deck. And then his other effect is, when an attack is declared involving another Ancient Warriors monster you control, you can draw 1 card. So yeah, he's a way to get out more monsters out from the deck. And then if you're able to activate stuff during your opponent's turn, you get to draw cards. And then for the next card we play is triple Ancient Warriors Ingenious something Kong. Sorry, I can't really pronounce these names. But this card is really neat because if this card is added to the deck, or from the deck to the hand, by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, not just a monster but a card, you get to special summon them out. So that way you get, like, easy level rank 4s, easy links, whatever you need at the time. And then his effect is, when a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, you can send a face-up Ancient Warriors continuous spell and trap you control to the grave. Negate the activation. And then his other effect is, he can negate a monster effect, but you have to control the virtuous luge. So you kind of have to have these on the field if you want to maximize his effect. But usually we probably don't get to use that as much as we want, because we don't really play too many Ancient Warriors continuous spell and traps in the deck. We play some other ones, some more like floodgatey stuff. But mostly this card, we're going to use it as a way to search from the deck, like with Masterful, and then you can just summon him out hella easily. So yeah, that's why we play that at 3, because he's really easy to summon. For the next card we play double Graceful. So this card is, you target a continuing spell and trap you control, send it to the grave, and you add an Ancient Warrior spell and trap from your deck to your hand. So this one you can at least search your other stuff from the deck. So that's why we only play 2. You can cut it down to 1 if you like. I just like playing 2 because if you really need to, you can use effect, and then you can start getting like your the one continuously play. I forgot the name. The one that lets you search and stuff. And then his other effect is, if your other Ancient Warrior monster effect is activated, target effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of him once per turn. So like I said, once you start spamming out on the board with all these monsters, you can start gaining these additional effects to be able to stop your opponent. For the next card we play 1 Ancient Warriors Eccentric Lu Jing. If I got that correct. You can target a continuous spell and trap you control, send it to the grave, and then you add Ancient Warrior Spell and Trap with a different name from your graveyard to your hand. So this kind of just recurs from your graveyard, especially if you kind of cycle through all of them. And then the second effect is if your other Ancient Warriors monster effects activated, you can target a spell and trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So it can be kind of like your one MST, I guess. But we don't go into it too often. Like I said, usually we're trying to get out Masterful or like Virtuous. There's kind of more for the late game if you need to recur something back. That's why we play him. And also the one very important thing is that he's water, kind of like Graceful and Masterful, because you get to play something in the extra deck that maybe not a lot of decks have access to. Now we go on to the big beaters of the deck. So we play double Ancient Warriors Valiant. So he gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls. So obviously if you're going to be trying to OTK or trying to do some big boy damage, he's your guy. But you can only use each of his effects once per turn. If you control 2 or more Ancient Warrior monsters, you can special summon from your hand. And the second effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, he can attack 2 monsters. So that way you can just kind of start taking out their monsters. So yeah, he's just the big boy you want to be summoning. And then the next card to play is double Ancient Warriors Loyal. So this card is if only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon him. And then your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warrior monsters you control with card effects. And then the other effect is if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. So he's kind of like a Pinkertops in a way. I know when this card first came out, people were kind of using it as that because, you know, Pinkertops is that one. But obviously Pinkertops is a lot better. This card's a little more slower version of that, I guess you can say. But yeah, he's just really good for a deck, like especially like I said, going second, summon him out, start summoning on your level 4s and stuff. But yeah, he's just a really good card, especially if you need to out something. And then for the last Ancient Warriors we play one Fearsome. So this kind of reminds me of like a Jura-Ghetto. You know, it doesn't make you gain life points, but if your Ancient Warrior monster attacks, you can special summon them, and then you can, one of your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack. So that way you can get over stuff. And then his second effect is if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle card effect, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. So that way your monster can get over one of their things, and once they get over that, you summon and you use effect, and then you destroy something. So. But yeah, he's just a really good card. Yeah, just because he has that niche effect. Then for the last card we play, double Gamma Seal. Like I said, this is more of a control-based deck. We don't play if I look correctly, we don't play hand traps in this deck. But we do use a lot of like other stuff to get rid of your opponent's stuff. So I just play Gamma Seal. It's kind of like your Nibiru, I guess, if you want to get rid of that one annoying monster. Gamma Seal is there for that. Now, we go on to the spells. Obviously, they're Beast Warriors, so we're going to play triple Tanky. Thank God this card didn't get hit in the ban list that just came out. And yeah, Tanky, you know, self-explanatory. Get to search whatever you want. For the next card we play is Ancient Warrior Saga, 3 visits. So this one is during your main phase. If you normal special summon an Ancient Warrior monster, target one of those monsters, add one Ancient Warriors monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from it. So yeah, just a really good card to search. And then this second effect is if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you get special summon one from your hand. So obviously you would use the first effect, and then during your opponent's turn, if it gets destroyed or something or sent to the grave, you can then summon out whatever you need from your hand. For the next card we play double Tensu. So this is just more for, I said, just to get a presence on board, just to get that extra normal. Like I said, if you can get out 2 level 4s, Tensu helps out with that. And also just another spell and trap we need on the field so we can activate their effects. Some of them do require specifically Ancient Warrior stuff, but a lot of the stuff only requires a continuous spell and trap. So Tensu, once we use its first effect, it's just kind of dead at that point. So we'll just use it as fodder for our Ancient Warrior stuff. And then now we go on to the actual Ancient Warrior spells and traps. We don't play that many. I just play 2 Saga Borrowing of Arrows, and 1 Saga East by South Winds. So Borrowing of Arrows has a cool first effect. You target a monster your opponent controls, and then one of your Ancient Warriors, you half his attack and you let it get into your monster. So that way you can get over stuff. The second effect is also cool. If this card is sent to the graveyard, while I control Ancient Warriors monster with 2 more different attributes. So that's kind of where the wind and water thing kind of come into play. because you have 2 different out there. You can place an Ancient Warrior spell or trap directly from your hand or deck. You can place it right there. So if you really need, like, let's say 3 visits or something like that, this card's really good to get that out from the deck really easily. And East by Southwind is just more of like, you activate it, you send it with one of your Ancient Warrior stuff, and then your opponent can respond to any of your Ancient Warrior stuff for the rest of the turn. And also it gains the effect that when your Ancient Warrior declares an attack, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So that way you can just get rid of more stuff. But we only play that many for that reason alone. Now we go on to the traps. We played triple Ancient Warrior Saga defense. So this card is just kind of more like for your battle phase stuff. Like, obviously, the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can send this face-up card from your spell and traps to the graveyard. Monster your opponent control cannot target Ancient Warrior monster for attacks. So that way you can protect your Ancient Warrior stuff. And then the second effect is when the opponent's monster declares an attack, banish this card from your graveyard, special summon Ancient Warriors from your deck for free. And then his other effect, the first effect is if your Ancient Warrior monster battles, your opponent cannot activate any spell and traps until the end of the damage step. So it just helps out to get your monsters a little bit of immunity, and also if, let's say, you do amass a lot of them out there on the field, you can protect it with defense. So that's why I play the triple, and also because you can place it in the spell and trap zone really easily with borrowing arrows. So that's why we play 3. Use 1, protect yourself. Now we go on to the generic traps and continuous traps. We play double Warning Point. So finally got my hands on this card, and I wanted to put it in some kind of deck that you can put it in. And I thought in this deck, like I said, I wanted always to make this deck kind of control based. And Warning Point is just kind of like, I guess, a new D barrier, or like kind of like a no material, so when the monster is summoned, this turn that face-up monster cannot attack, its effects are negated, and it can be used as material for Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Link. So yeah, so if you kind of want to stop your opponent dead in his tracks, and they're really relying on that monster they summoned, Warning Point's really good for that. And then we play double Fiendish, just because it's a continuous trap, and then let's say we do negate their effects, but let's say they like overlay with it or synchro with it, whatever it is still. It will get locked on the field, but then at that point you can at least still use it for your Ancient Warrior stuff, so it's just kind of like free fodder for it. But yeah, that's why I play it, just double of that. And then for the next card we play is There Can Be Only One. Like I said, you just want to stop your opponent dead in the tracks. Sucks says you won't be able to summon all your guys as well, but you can at least, kind of stop the flow of the game. And then once you don't need this card, you can send it away with one of your Ancient Warriors monsters, and then go from there. So that's that. And then for the last card to play, One Imperial Order. Like I said, we don't really use much of our spells for their effects. I mean, at first, but like, let's say once we get through all of that, once you flip the Imperial Order on them, they'll be kind of like, oh shit. So that's why we play just the one of. Like I said, if you don't really want to play Imperial Order, you could play something else, especially if you don't want to hinder your own spells. I would say probably some kind of power spell or something that you can play. But so far it's been working really well. And like I said, if you don't want to use this anymore, or like let's say you don't want to keep paying, kind of same thing with There Can Be Only One. You can send this to the grave, and then you can do your Ancient Warrior stuff. Now we go on to the extra deck. For this deck, obviously we play nothing but Ancient Warriors, so we got to play triple Oath. Oath is just really good because when it's Sting Summon, you get to add whatever Ancient Warriors card you need. And then his second effect is send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target a face-up card your opponent controls, return to the hand. So it's a good non-destroying card effect if you want to get rid of stuff. So that's why you play triple, because it's just so good. You just kind of have to, And because we do, like I said, once you get to that point where you're just able to just spam monsters, we do play a link or access code package. So we play 1 Cerberus. Like I said, these cards are just for utility. 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, and then the access code. This is all wind. And then you can like go into this, and then this, and then you have 3. And then you can summon access code, and shenanigans from there. There's not really much to say for that. And then the 1 Boral Sword, because let's say you don't want to use access code, you can just go into Boral Sword, and yeah, just Boral Sword ends games, Now we go on to the Exceeds. We play one Dweller, because Dweller is Dweller. One Dugaris, if you really need a push for that, for game or whatever. Dugaris is there, helps you draw, helps you summon, whatever you need it to do. One Tornado Dragon, just for back removal, because we don't have too much in the deck. Because we do play a lot, you end up sometimes having a lot of like wins out there, like level 4s. We play the one Shidori. It's just a way to get rid of stuff without destroying it. And then because we do play the Masterful and Graceful and Eccentric, they're all level 4 waters. So in this deck you can play one Bahamut Shark and one Toad Awesome, because you can, and that's kind of broken. So obviously we're going to play them in the deck. And for the last card, just to show off a little, I was able to pull this. If you guys didn't see on, I think it was Twitter, Instagram, I forget. But we obviously, with all these Exceeds, once you exhaust their whatever their effects are, you can summon Zeus. And Zeus is just a really annoying card. And yeah. But obviously, if you don't have access to the card, you can run another rank 4 or some other kind of thing to do, or some other link if you like. But yeah, if you have access to the card, I say play, because Bahamut Shark and stuff. Let's say you use a Bahamut Shark's kind of dead at that point. And yeah, it's just an easy way to get Zeus out on the field. But that is it for the deck profile, you guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about it. Make sure you check out our social media, or check us out on our social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I've been on the Twitter more, so make sure you guys, if you guys want to talk to us, contact us through there. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.